The Miami Heat are off to one of the best starts of the 2022 NBA season, winning 7 of their first 9 games. After one of the better off-seasons for an NBA team this past off-season, where the Heat traded for Kyle Lowry, their new additions seem to be paying off, as the squad looks like a legitimate title contender once again. So, how good are the Heat actually? What factors have contributed to their early success? And can they keep it up throughout the remaining 70 games of the season? I'll be talking about that and more in today's video. If you're new here and enjoy the video, please be sure to subscribe for more NBA content like this. I'm trying to hit 18,000 subscribers by December, so all support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, with that being said, let's talk about the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are 7-3 right now and are second in the Eastern Conference standings as of when writing this video, just 1 game behind the Philadelphia 76ers. And overall, they've looked pretty scary early on. The Heat's schedule has been pretty tough to begin the season, facing 6 teams that are currently in the playoff picture in their respective conferences. However, even with this rough schedule, the Miami Heat have not been bogged down, and instead have used this stretch to show their flashes of championship legitimacy. The Heat started the season with a big win over the Milwaukee Bucks, who swept them in the playoffs last season, winning by 42 points. That was then followed up with impressive performances against Orlando, the Brooklyn Nets, Charlotte, Dallas, and the Utah Jazz, another team that's looking scary good to begin this season. These good wins over other contenders like Brooklyn and Utah gives an indication about what this team has potential to be, and that this is just the tip of the iceberg for them. With that said, there are a few reasons why I think the Heat have been as good as they are to date, so I'm gonna go through them now. The first reason for why I think Miami is a legit title contender is the core group of this team, because the way they've been playing together has been exceptional. The Miami culture is arguably unmatched. The team has got some of the hardest workers in the league. So, with that being said, let's take a deeper dive into some of the core elements of this roster and take a look at what makes them so special. The first guy we obviously need to talk about is Jimmy Butler. Butler has been playing like an MVP candidate to begin this season and has been instrumental to Miami's success. Last season, the Heat were pretty disappointing after their bubble run, but I think a big reason why they struggled and ended up finishing as the 6th seed was because of Butler's long-term absence. Due to health and safety protocols, Butler had to sit out for major stretches during the season, and losing a player of his caliber and impact is obviously going to be a detriment to the team. However, now fully healthy, Butler is back to his best, and arguably the best he's ever been in his whole career. As of when writing, Butler is averaging just under 25 points per game on the season, with 6 rebounds and 5 assists to go along with that, which is certainly MVP caliber numbers. Aside from some miserable 3-point shooting, Butler has been incredibly efficient, shooting over 52% from the field. If he's able to maintain this level of play, I genuinely think he can be a shout for the MVP award. Butler's defense has also been superb. It's a big reason why he and Miami have been so hard to stop, as with Butler averaging over 2 steals a game to go along with a defensive box plus minus of +4, which by the way ranks him 2nd in the league, only behind Nikola Jokic. The Heat have been able to lock down teams to under 100 points on multiple occasions. To further showcase his overall impact, Butler currently leads the league in win shares and is 3rd in box plus minus with +9. That plain and simple describes Jimmy's value to Miami. It clearly demonstrates he's an MVP candidate. I know statistics don't show the entire picture, but I think those elite impact metrics prove how effective Butler is right now, and that really shouldn't be disregarded. Outside of statistical impact though, Butler's leadership is having a clear influence with his teammates again, and the chemistry as a whole in Miami looks as good as it ever has. Overall, Butler has been dominant early on, leading the league in many impact metrics as well as scoring at a higher rate than he ever has before, even on some below average 3-point shooting. It's a great sign for Miami, who will need Butler at his best for them to contend. because as we saw last season, the absence of Butler's presence can certainly negatively impact this team in a big way. Another guy making a big splash on Miami is Bam Adebayo, who is also having a career year to date, with averages of 20 points and 12 rebounds on 52% shooting from the field. Like Butler, Adebayo has made his presence known not just offensively, but defensively too, ranked in the top 15 in the league for defensive win shares and defensive box plus minus. He's able to guard not just other bigs, but switch onto the perimeter and surprise guards with his ability to keep up with them and lock them down too, which makes him so impactful and versatile for Miami on that end. The interior presence of Adebayo has been critical to Miami's playstyle, as his size allows for Miami to dominate the rebounding battles most nights, and in the end, that's resulted in them being one of the better rebounding teams in the league. If Bam is able to maintain this play and keep opponents worried with his playmaking abilities, Miami will continue to run a very versatile offense and defensive unit that could land them a return to the NBA Finals in 2022. Tyler Hero has been breaking out big time for the Heat as well, and his return to form has undoubtedly been a major reason for Miami's early season feat. In 2021, Hero really struggled, averaging just 15 points on below average shooting after he was expected to take a leap after his fantastic rookie season. However, the breakout has finally arrived now, with him now averaging 20 points on career best efficiency as he begins to leap towards stardom. Hero has been brilliant in his bench role, leading the second unit with his improved offensive creation. He's been so good in fact that he scored the most points off the bench in the first 7 games of a season in NBA history with 157, proving that his improvements are legitimate. Hero's defense has also improved significantly so far this season, which makes him a lot more positive of an impact on the floor. He's better able to take matchups on that end and isn't targeted as often as a result, which is great to see as he's been a negative on that end through his short career. Hero is making a strong case to be a 6th Man of the Year candidate early on. His play has been incredible for Miami and is really just what they need off the bench to be able to be competitive with the best of the best through 48 minutes. The Miami Heat were considered a big winner of the offseason due to them picking up Kyle Lowry, and while Lowry has had a slow start to the season, he's improving as the games go on, and his impact is starting to shine through. Lowry's playmaking is extremely important to Miami's playstyle, and his 7 assists per game show that. Even with fewer possessions compared to his Toronto days, Lowry is able to get to the free throw line often with his aggressive playstyle, and he's converting at a near elite clip from the stripe. Like the others I've mentioned today, Lowry's defense has been great to begin the new season. It's not elite or anything, but it's very solid, and it makes Miami such a difficult team to play. The majority of the lineups that they run are so defensively strong. Again, even though Lowry hasn't been great to start the season, Miami have been dominant and have been winning a whole bunch. That just shows that Miami can be even deadlier with Lowry at his best because they're already fantastic with him playing relatively mediocre. If Lowry can turn it around, Miami become deeper, more versatile, and have another guy to consistently run the offense through to throw off the opponent's defensive scheme. It's a really exciting core group of players and gives me a lot of confidence in this team moving forward. Some other players that I like on this team are Duncan Robinson, PJ Tucker, and Max Truce. Like Lowry, Duncan has struggled to start the season, but when he's on, he can't be stopped. His shooting touch makes him a guy defenses must watch out for, so regardless of his early struggles, his threat of being able to torch a team for 7+ threes makes him a valuable piece to the Heat core. PJ Tucker has been a solid addition for Miami as well, providing hustle defensively and some solid shooting. Tucker is always going to pour his heart out when he steps on the court, and that works perfectly in Miami's culture, so his impact, though minor compared to some other guys I've mentioned, is important. Max Truce has been solid this season as well for Miami. After killing it in the Summer League, Truce has earned some minutes on this deep squad, providing good shooting at a 38% clip currently on 4 attempts per game. allowing Spoelstra to run a deeper rotation of players. So those are all the players that I want to talk about today that I believe have contributed the most to Miami's early season success. With that said though, there's a couple of other things I want to key in on today, which I've already alluded to a bit, that have also led Miami to this 7-3 start. One of those is their defense overall. The Miami Heat have been dominant on this end thanks to the efforts of their stars on that end, as I've already gone over. As a result, Miami is holding their opponents to the second fewest points in the league currently, as well as allowing the lowest opposition field goal percentage at 41.6%, which is simply elite. Essentially, teams are barely making 4 out of 10 shots when playing Miami, and it's no doubt being the defensive-minded nature of this core led by Butler and Adebayo that's allowed for this stifling defense to occur. Just because I can, another stat on Miami's defense indicates that they hold opponents to the 4th lowest 3-point percentage in the league as well. Again, these stats just validate the players' efforts that we've seen and show that Miami is arguably the best defensive team in the league currently, and that helps elevate them above their competition. Without repeating myself too much, the defense Miami has put on display has made them, in my view, a legit contender so far, and it's helped the Heat establish themselves as a team to beat in the Eastern Conference. Another thing that Miami has done well so far during this season is rebounding. The Heat are currently the best team in the league when it comes to rebounding, leading the league in total rebounds per game, as well as allowing the fewest opposition rebounds per game too. This results in fewer outlet fast breaks and second chance opportunities, further contributing to the great defense, as teams cannot get as many easy buckets against Miami. If the Heat can maintain this, it'll put forth further legitimacy to their contending status, and again, make them more difficult to beat. But with that all being said, how good are the Miami Heat actually? Are they legit contenders? To me, with what I've seen so far, I have to say yes, the Heat are a legit squad right now. There's been some questionable games that do throw a red flag or two onto the Heat's name, such as their 3 losses really. The way they lost their cool against Denver was a bit of a worry, and they just seemed unable to generate consistent offense against the Pacers and Celtics. But I think that's a wrinkle that will be ironed out over time as the team gets used to each other. Overall though, I think there's certainly a lot more positives than negatives, and at this rate, I'd have Miami finishing as a top 4 seed, winning at minimum 50 games. With Brooklyn still finding their groove and still a lot of uncertainty around Kyrie, the Bucks looking beatable, and the 76ers facing quite a few health and protocol issues, Miami could be considered favourites to come out of the East right now if the playoffs started today. That's how good they've been. I wouldn't say they're my tip to win the East right now, but they're certainly up there, and have made a very good case to begin this season. Everything is flowing well for Miami to start, aside from a couple of hiccups here and there. So if Butler, Adebayo, Hero, and the rest of this core can continue to perform at the high standard that they're at right now, it shouldn't surprise anyone if this team makes a deep playoff run come April next year. The Heat are proving they're not beneficiaries of the bubble. They are legit, and now, back at full strength, they're making their name heard once again in championship contender conversations. And that will conclude the video. What do you guys think of this? How good are the Miami Heat to you? How many games do you have them winning this season? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.